Hey guys, Color Out Camperman Brian here. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys 10 future plans for our land here. So a lot of you guys have been asking me, hey, are you going to build a cabin, or are you going to make some campsites, or are you going to open up camping to your subscribers? And so I figured I would answer what our future plans are in this video. These are not going to be in any particular order. Some of them we're going to be doing, starting probably next weekend. We just wrapped up our 5th camping trip here, but we're going to be camping here again next weekend. So some of them literally we're going to be doing next weekend. Some of them we've already started on. And then some of them are going to be probably years down the road. Today's video is sponsored by Prime Land Exchange. So they are a family-owned small business based out of Texas, and they sell land in multiple states here in the U.S. And what's awesome about them is they actually act as both the seller of the property, and also they can act as the bank. So you can either buy property with them cash straight up, or you can actually finance the land through them. So they have really nice terms and everything, and they have a variety of properties, some here located here in Colorado, and like I said, in other areas of the U.S. as well too. Logan is one of the owners of the company, and I was talking with him about his company, and one of the reasons I was willing to have them as a sponsor is their values seem to align with mine, and I felt like it would be a good fit. And a lot of you guys have been asking me, hey, who would you recommend to buy some land? And I would say definitely check these guys out for sure. So they're doing a land giveaway, which is awesome. So check that out in the description for details on that, and I'll also put their website in the description as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the 10 future plans here at the land. All right, guys, so the first future plan of our land is making multiple campsites. So this is a campsite that my in-laws just camped at. And as you can see, this tree back here, we cut off some limbs, and we're trying to make 5 to 6 really cleared out areas where we're planning on putting our camper or our friends' campers. Because ultimately, we'd love to be able to have large groups of our friends come over and be able to have everybody have their own spot. And it was really cool camping with my in-laws here because they had their camper here. We had our camper probably about a football field away. So it seemed, very private, but yet we were still camping with people, which was awesome. One thing we're gonna make sure we do not do in making these campsites is we don't want to have to cut down a bunch of trees. We don't want to get rid of any trees on the property unless we absolutely have to. We may have to cut some down in kind of our loop in order to be able to access it, but some of these smaller ones we're thinking we may even try to transplant, or we might end up cutting some of them down, but we're going to really try to minimize that. So once we have our 5 or 6 campsites identified, what we're planning on doing is actually renting a backhoe. And then we're going to use that backhoe to level out the sites. And so we really have more, designated sites that are level. So all you have to do is back your camper in and you're good to go. With that, we're also planning on getting a gas-powered wood chipper. So the one we're looking at will accept limbs up to 5 inches. And so we've started creating quite a bit of slash piles, again, from trimming up some of these branches and stuff like that. And so what we're planning on doing is putting those into the wood chipper and then using the wood chips to go around our campsites here. So that'll cut down on the dust and then also just kind of designate our little campsites just that much more. That was my wife's idea, by the way. I give her full credit, and it's an awesome idea. So good job, Renee. So the second future plan here at the land is building an outdoor shower and outhouse. So we have had friends that have camped with us, and they don't have those facilities with them, obviously. So we primarily camp in this area, but we would probably put it downwind. Our prevailing winds seem to come from the west, so we'd probably put it down over there. I do need to check though with local regulations to make sure that if we dug an outhouse, a hole and everything, that it would be okay. Because if we did do an outhouse, we would, when we rent the backhoe, dig that hole, or we could do a composting toilet, or we've even thrown the idea around of having a porta potty. For the outdoor shower, all we're planning on doing is building like a little fenced in area with a door, and then having a post go up where you could hang one of those solar bags, because we have a couple of those and those things work great. They don't use a whole lot of water, and there's plenty of sun here, that's for sure. So the third thing we're planning on doing is leveling out our driveway a little bit better. So you can see here there's still some pretty big rocks that are just below the surface, and while our little grader works well, it just doesn't have the power of like the backhoe would. If you threw the backhoe front bucket down and just drug it, that could easily rip up a lot of these and get things leveled out a little bit more. And while we would have that backhoe, one other thing with the road is we're considering putting in a culvert, a drainage culvert from the county road. We can access our property, but we have a couple friends that their campers have really low ground clearance. And I mean, they barely clear coming down that hill. We're talking about like literally a ½ inch to an inch. So we're considering doing that while we have the backhoe as well. So the fourth thing that we're planning on doing on our property is cutting in some trails. So here is one of our cattle trails. We actually have a couple of these throughout the property, and they're super cool actually, because they give, if you want to go for a little hike or walk in the morning time, they give a real nice pathway. Whew. Ran over here to get this different microphone, and I'm winded because I'm out of shape. The one trail we'd really like to make is one around the perimeter of the property. So we'd like to make it about 5 feet wide, so just a little bit bigger than our ATV. And it probably wouldn't be a straight line around our property, just because, again, we don't want to cut down trees if we don't have to. So it'll probably kind of weave in and out. If we did need to cut down any limbs, though, that's again where that wood chipper would come into play, because we could use those limbs to chip wood and have wood chippings for our campsites. So the fifth thing that we're planning on doing here is building a tree stand slash zip line platform. So this is Narnia. This is what we call Narnia on our land, and it's this area where all the trees are way taller than anywhere else on our property. So we also have really tall grass here. So I want to build a tree stand here because I do hunt, and I have a turkey license for this area, as well as elk and then small game. I'm not planning on showing any hunting or anything like that on this channel. I'm going to keep it all about camping. But with that platform, we're also planning on making a zip line on it as well. You can actually buy zip line kits on Amazon for a couple $100, and you get like 120 or 150 foot line. So we were thinking we'd have the tree stand probably here in this tree, and then have the zip line go down. It would just be a really fun thing for us to do, and then when our son gets a little bit older, he could do it as well. So the sixth thing we're planning on doing is making a huge stone fire pit. So this is kind of our center circle here, and again, we're gonna make all of our campsites just kind of on the outskirts of all this. So we'd like to have our fire pit probably here, because it would be centrally located. There's not a bunch of trees around here or anything like that, and it would be a great place for everybody to gather at the end of the night. So the seventh thing that we're planning on doing is building a pavilion. So we'd love to have an area that, again, is kind of in the center here, that maybe has, you know, a shot of view of the mountains here, and that's centrally located. We'd build a couple picnic tables there. It'd be a great place for everybody to convene at the end of the night, and we could have potluck style dinners, or just hang out, play cards, games, whatever, and it'd be close to the fire pit, and it'd be a great place for everybody to hang out. So the eighth thing that we're planning on doing here is having a redneck hot tub. So if you guys have ever seen these, you got to Google it or YouTube it, you'll see. But basically, we're planning on getting a stock tank, and what you do is you have some copper piping that comes out and actually will sit on a fire. So basically, it draws water in through the tubing, heats up in the fire, and then spits it back in the pool. So you don't need a pump or anything fancy, and it would be great because in the summertime, during the day, it's really hot here, so the kids can play in the water while it's cool, and then at nighttime, we'd get the fire going. It'd be a really cool area at night for the adults to hang out in. So the ninth thing that we're planning on doing here is building a small off-grid cabin. And this would probably actually be the location of where the cabin is, because this is just such a gorgeous view. We overlook kind of our open space here, and then we're tucked in against the trees here. So the size that we're looking at would probably be a 16 by 20 gambrel style, and then we'd have a front covered porch. But we would go with the gambrel style because we could have a smaller floor plan, but then we could have a like full second story. So on the first floor, we'd probably have like a kitchen, living room, you know, maybe throw a picnic table in there and a bathroom. And then upstairs, we'd have like a loft and then a bedroom. And it'd be great to have that covered porch because then we could sit out there and enjoy this gorgeous view here. And like I said, it'd be 100% off-grid, so it'd be solar paneled. We would make a rain catchment system where rainwater would come in and would feed into our cistern that we actually already have here on the property. The previous owner left 2 cisterns. One's a big old 1,500 gallon, and then we got another about 450 gallon that's truck mounted. So if we don't get enough rain, we could go fetch water with that because there's a fill station not too far away from here. We would either have a septic system or composting toilet. Don't know for sure about that. I also have to look a little bit more into local regulations because at least from what I've looked at so far, they're kind of stringent on how you build off-grid cabins. All right, guys, so number 10, which the file got corrupted from the land, so I'm doing it here at my house, but it is a shipping container. So we are planning on getting a shipping container because we had considered building a shed. However, we built a 12 by 16 shed at our house here, and it cost us about $3,500, and then obviously we had to build it, which a shed that size, it did take a while. But so we figured we could get a shipping container because we can buy an 8 by 8 by 40 foot shipping container and have it delivered to our property for $3,100. And if we did that, we could leave the ATV on the land and it would be protected and safe because obviously we would lock it. We could leave tools. We've also talked about potentially getting a tractor down the road, like the backhoe tractor that I've been showing pictures of. We're thinking we could maybe store that in there. It would just be like kind of a garage and a storage shed. And what would be great about that is we just have to level out the ground, call this company, pay them, they deliver it, and boom, we got ourselves a nice storage shed. All right, guys, well, that is it for this video. Throw in the comments below what you're most excited to see here at the land. And I'd also love to know, too, if you guys have any ideas of fun things that we could do or something that would be kind of cool that we could do to the land here. I would love to know about it. If you're new to the channel, I'll put a playlist in this video right now of some other land videos. But throw a like if you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.